Before we get started, I just wanted to give a big thanks to Kid Cult, Metromaniac Shorts, and Zonkers. This video wouldn't be possible without them. The Zonkers crew came out with a vid a few weeks back on what happens to Red Harlow after Red Dead Revolver. It's really well made, so I'll link it in the description, but here's the part that inspired me to make this video.
So to start this one off, I just want to say that yes, I am aware of the Housers saying that the story of Red Dead Revolver and Red Dead Redemption do not take place in the same universe. But this does not necessarily mean that Red Harlow doesn't exist in Redemption's universe. If you were to ask me personally, I believe Red Harlow does exist in Redemption's universe, but maybe his story was greatly exaggerated.
Like I said, it's great, so go check it out after this video, but my question is, does Red Harlow exist in the Red Dead Redemption universe? If you were an expert, your answer would probably be no, linking me to an article that disproves the theory. See, in 2009, LGN conducted an interview with Dan Houser and other devs on the game. During the beginning stages of production, Rockstar had decided which elements from Revolver fit in with the drastically changed structure of the game world in Redemption.
We loved the mechanic of Deadeye and thought it was executed very nicely for the time, so we wanted to keep that and keep the Wild West theme. But beyond that, I don't think there's much that's being kept. I think the way we came to see Red Dead Revolver as being about the kind of myths and iconic images of the Old West, the cowboy with the scar on his face, the Indian, or the iconic set pieces put together in a somewhat linking story, but it was really about trying to show off these very iconic myths about the Old West. Then what we wanted to do with Red Dead Redemption was to do something that felt more like the reality of the Old West. Story-wise, we felt there was no point linking them because it wouldn't make any sense.
So that ends it, right? Well, no, not for me anyways. Story-wise, we felt there was no point linking them because it wouldn't make any sense. Doesn't mean Red doesn't exist in the universe. It just means Rockstar didn't want any Red Dead Revolver characters in Redemption missions. The key word being story-wise. So Red doesn't appear in Redemption, but it doesn't mean he doesn't exist. He could be hiding out or even be dead. Where's my evidence?
You ever heard tell about a famous old bounty hunter from these parts? Went by the name of Red Harlow? My granddaddy knew him personal. They were drinking buddies or some such. When Red was a kid, his parents got slaughtered by some bastard of a Mexican general. Red was real cold. Must have killed damn near 1,000 men.
Multiple NPCs have conversations about the characters of Revolver.
Everyone knows about Jack Swift. He had the most lethal hands with his iron, but the most tender with the ladies.
Annie Stokes. I was a young man then, and I can tell you she sure made an impression on me. Had herself a rifle so powerful it could blow out the side of a barn.
The NPCs present them as fact. Doesn't mean it is, but I think the idea of Red being made up or a character in a book in the Redemption universe is unlikely. I mean, why would so many NPCs talk about him if he wasn't a real person? That's my thinking on it, but the question presented by Zonkers still stands. Where is Red Harlow? In a video I made a few months ago, I go out of bounds in Red Dead 2 and show an area that looks familiar to another area in Revolver. My whole idea was that Brimstone and the Annie Stokes ranch could be in this area out of bounds. It's also weird that so many people made concept maps that lined up pretty damn well. Looking back on the vid, I doubt it's supposed to be anything besides landscape so the world looks bigger in bounds, but that's still my idea, that Revolver takes place somewhere out of bounds. I mean, it's said that Brimstone exists.
Used to be, best shots in the country would head to Brimstone. Had a famous Brimstone quick draw competition.
If that don't take off.
They still talk about the time Red Harlow beat old Mr. Kettler.
You're looking at the Brimstone Quick Draw Champion.
Said Red Harlow could drive a nail into a board at 300 feet.
If Brimstone exists, why can't Red Harlow exist? I think it's important to note how credible these campfire interactions are. The NPCs talk about actual events that happened to the story.
Johnson had a fellow with him that was an uncanny marksman. Uh-huh. He took down the Walton's gang. They hit him with several shots and it didn't even phase him. I'm listening.
Not a bad shot, Mr. Marston. Why don't you check in with me next time you're in town?
I don't want to be no policeman, Marshal.
And then proceeds to tell them a ghost story.
Just up the road had a woman killed herself. Been after the scent. She couldn't sleep because midnight each night she heard voices from the dead walking by.
So I think they're pretty half and half, exaggerating events that actually happened, so the story of Red Dead Revolver could have happened, but the NPCs just exaggerated it to make the story more interesting. The world of Redemption is very serious and pretty grounded, while Red Dead Revolver has magic wizards attacking you. So yeah, I don't think the version of Red Dead Revolver we play as is the one that happens in the Redemption universe. And Dan Houser literally says there are two separate universes. but something does happen to make the NPCs know so much about the characters of Revolver. Either way, that's my thoughts. I didn't mention things like twin rocks being in every Red Dead game because I think everyone knows that, but that just proves the theory even more. Anyway, Kid Cole, I think I can keep my channel on. I wanted to debate.
Vanderman, I'm always by your side, poker plans. I got a plan, Vanderman, I'm always by your side, poker plans. I got a plan, poker plans, poker plans. Poker plans, poker plans.
Fuck, I'll do it next video.